UFC Vegas 20. I'm so ready for it. Tonight. Not tonight. It's not tonight.
You're ready tonight.
But I'm ready
Saturday.
tonight to watch it. And that's what I'm talking about. The main event doesn't really get me going. Doesn't really get my juices flowing.
Doesn't get
my spirits rowing. Either way, but it's Cyril Gane versus Jair Biggie Boy Rozenstruik. And that's your main event tonight. You know what irks me, Blake?
What irks you, Josh?
You know what the main event?
Not what jerks you, but what irks you.
What irks me and jerks me and skirks me?
What's up?
The main event. Do you know what the main event was supposed to be for this night?
Of course, I'm a professional journalist. What was it supposed to be?
It was Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is Dominic Reyes.
And versus
Jiri
Prochazka. One of my favorites, man. Can you imagine that main event? I would be everywhere around this studio if that was the main event.
Fight.
Oh my gosh, I'm so upset about that. It upsets me. I don't want to put that upsetting mood energy on you, but Dominic Reyes versus Jiri Prochazka would really get me fired up.
So, I know we've been talking some crap on this card. Not even the card, just the main fight.
Rescheduled for May 1st, by the way. We're gonna get Dominic Reyes, Jiri Prochazka. Still a thing, May 1st, though.
I guess even that fight to me, though, is it somewhat similar?
What do you mean? I mean,
Dominic Reyes, not Derek. Dominic Reyes came off a loss to the champion, Jan Blachowicz.
Oh yeah, broke his nose.
Dude. I rewatched that fight 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I rewatched that fight. I did not realize that
before it was over, he broke his nose.
Yes, I didn't realize that he had broken his nose in the middle of the fight. But while I was rewatching the fight, I saw and what was funny is, and I forget who the announcers were for the fight. I think Dominic Cruz was one of them. I think Michael Bisping was
probably the biggest card of last year, maybe.
So, in the middle of the fight, Reyes caught a right hook from Blachowicz.
That legendary Polish player.
And Dominic Reyes was like, or whoever the announcer was, I don't remember if it was Dominic or not, but said, oh man, look, he broke his nose. But no, what actually happened was, on a prior kick about a minute and a half before that, Jan had a front kick, nice little kickboxing kick, broke that shit on the kick.
Hell yeah.
You could see it instantly react. And Dominic's nose was like this, and afterwards it looked like mine.
Yeah. After that,
holy, which
fight
is so
was
weird
over.
because Dominic really didn't react to it, which shows the toughness of Reyes. But
yeah, I mean, after that fight was over because it hurt like shit. I
had to.
And Jiri Prochazka, just to make you more sad, he fought Volkan Ozdemir in his first ever UFC fight. You know the thing about Volkan Ozdemir, he's got no time for you. He's got no time in the octagon. No time.
Wait, what time?
No time. And he fought DC, Daniel Cormier. Not a lot of people fight Daniel Cormier nowadays, especially an up-and-comer. He lost, obviously, but then he fought Jiri Prochazka, and Jiri Prochazka dominated this man's. He dominated Volkan Ozdemir, which is not a lot of people, because Volkan doesn't have time
to be dominated.
In the octagon with you. He has no time to. He just he's got to get in and get out. But I mean, he had a bad time with Jiri Prochazka. So I mean, domination. It wasn't like a domination where oh yeah, he dominated him. It was holy shit, this guy's good. So that's why I'm really excited.
So that's what's funny about these
Prochazka Reyes.
The fight that was supposed to be, and the fight that they replaced it with. The two biggest names, Rozenstruik and Reyes, are both coming off losses. And the two up-and-comers, Prochazka and Gane, are coming off wins.
And that's what we got, main event.
So really, your best guys are losers, and your worst guys are winners.
That's our main event now.
I am actually I know we've kind of downplayed this fight, and we're not really that excited about it. I'm still, obviously, we watch the fights every week. I'm going to be watching it. You're going to be watching it, even though you might not be paying that much attention. Obviously, when we're watching it, we're going to be a couple brews deep, because when are we not a couple brewskis deep, just like when we do this podcast.
Could be a banger, but I'm not excited.
I'm interested in this main fight now because I am on the side of Cyril Gane. I think it'd be very interesting to see if he can go 8-0, beat Rozenstruik. Because if he beats Rozenstruik, I think that does a lot of damage to Rozenstruik's career. I mean, not a whole lot because you just lost to Francis Ngannou, who's not going to be fighting for the title. But if you lose to the up-and-comer Gane, I think it does one of two things to Gane. It propels him straight into the top 10.
Well, they're both coming off of wins, and they're both against the same guy, Junior Dos Santos. So it's not really like...
Oh, dang, you're right. Shoot. Because okay, let me rewind. I falsely said that Rozenstruik lost his last fight.
I mean, it's hard to forget.
He lost to Francis Ngannou in that epic wild swing in first round. But you're right. He did then come back and face Junior Dos Santos, who's on his way out. Let's be honest. Dos Santos just had a bad run the last. He was a former champion. Was a great. Now he is on the downward skid of his career. Just not. I mean, he just can't handle it like he used to. So I do apologize about that. That's, again, me not knowing the facts, but I'm glad Josh is here to back me up.
Oh, I mean, it's hard to forget. So, I mean, they both ended Junior Dos Santos in the second round, and that's kind of, I mean, it doesn't really tell you a lot. They both finished him via TKO second round, so you don't really take anything from either of them fighting Junior Dos Santos because, they're just fighting each other now. Cyril Gane is 7-0. That's very young in your career. I mean, take it as you will. I mean, 7-0 is not a lot, but then you look at Biggie Boy, and he's only 11-1. I think 11-1 is his record, and that's not a lot of experience either. So this main event is just kind of a lack of experience, and that's you see that, and that's kind of a lot of fights for you, but. I mean, it's not a lot of experience in the MMA world.
No.
I mean, look at Kevin Kroom, who's like 22-12, and Alex Caceres, who's 17-12. I mean, there's a lot of inexperience and there's a lot of experience. This main event lacks experience, and so I mean, let's run through the card.
So, first up on the card, obviously we have.
We got Jacoby.
Are we doing run through the whole card? Or are we going to go through our picks for the card? The fights
I mean, we're not going to run through the card, but I mean, you've got Jacoby, trains out of Factory X. He's fighting a guy, Maxine Grishin, who's just like kind of a world beater. So I mean, you'll see our picks on Saturday.
Yeah, you'll see our picks for those.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
The first fight I want to start off with is Alex Cowboy Oliveira versus Ramazan Kuramagomedov. So this fight This fight was supposed to be Alex Oliveira versus Randy Brown, and Randy Brown I think would have beat Alex Oliveira. This guy I'm not so sure of. Ramazan is 8-0, and this is just the bottom line is the bottom line out of anything is when Alex Oliveira fights Cowboy Oliveira. You have to watch it. You have to absolutely watch it. And I don't know what Ramazan brings, but I know that Cowboy brings really everything. So that's a big fight that I'm looking forward to. And if Ramazan wins, then maybe watch out for this guy who will be 9-0 after. But I mean,
it's kind of funny because when you think about Cowboy, not the other Cowboy, but Oliveira.
He's a cowboy in his own right.
Yeah, he has had. He's a guy you have to watch because of the wins that he's accumulated against big name opponents.
Oh, man.
He beat a guy by the name of Will Brooks.
Will Brooks is like a
ever heard of him?
Yeah, he's a Bellator stud.
He then had a no contest versus Tim Means, and then fought Tim Means again.
The Dirty Bird.
He need a downed opponent. An illegal knee. It was no contest. Then he said, "Screw it, run that shit back."
Mike Perry
beat Tim Means. Then he beat Ryan LaFleur. Then he beat Carlos Condit. Faced Gunnar Nelson, lost. Faced Mike Perry, lost. But I mean,
this
Cowboy
guy fights good
has had some good ass fights. Lost his last fight to Shavkat Rakhmonov. Obviously, he lost.
Good old
disappointing because that's not somebody really know that's up and comer. But so it'll be interesting because you have to watch his fights all the time.
It's almost always entertaining.
It's always entertaining.
It's always
fight.
entertaining.
And
Cowboy.
I'm just gonna go out and say this right now. I don't know a whole lot about Nurmagomedov.
It's hard.
Obviously, the one thing we do know about Ramazan is that Khabib Nurmagomedov eats Kamatsu ramen with Ramazan Nurmagomedov. So if we're taking that into effect, I gotta go with Cowboy Oliveira on that fight.
It's like God, you'll see my pick Saturday. I mean,
you'll see our picks for sure. And I want to apologize to everybody last week that I ended up saying on the podcast who I was gonna pick. And then 3 of those people that I picked, I switched. And I didn't realize I even switched them because of the timing of the podcast when it comes out, of when I'm actually doing my shit. But
Blake is just like
on that.
Blake's just like well, we won't talk about last week. But I'm 18-7 in my last 2 weeks, so maybe listen.
I am.
But so if you want me to make a pick, you'll see it Saturday.
On. You're 18-7.
The last two.
Last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks, I'm 10-12.
It's just last 2. We won't talk about the whole year, but
hey, I'm perfect on main cards though. Watch the hell out.
But then we go to that fight. I'm just saying, watch Cowboy Oliveira, always entertaining, and then you've got a newcomer to the UFC, his first fight in the UFC. That's always a point of interest. If you have a guy that's making his first fight in the UFC, it's like okay, you can potentially follow this guy's career, because you saw the first fight.
It's a starting point.
It's a starting point. You saw this guy's first fight. Moving on to Angela Hill versus Ashley Yoder. Angie Overkill Hill. She really had a tough decision, tough 2 decisions. I mean, split decision losses to Michelle Watterson and someone else.
That's my future baby mama, by the way.
The Karate Hottie.
The Karate Hottie. Michelle Watterson.
Of people.
Sorry, it's not even that she's like. Yeah, obviously she is a hottie, but like she's just a beautiful person. You know what I mean?
She trains at Jackson Wink MMA. So down there in Florida, and there's some KC ties there. There's KC people that train there. I know Josie Storts and Kyle Powell train there, and they're from this neck of the woods, but they've branched out to Jackson Wink, and they're trying to evolve their game and be better. So respect to them. Shout out to them.
So
this fight,
Angela Hill actually has already beaten Ashley Yoder previously.
Oh man!
In her career, when Ashley, I believe, was 5-2.
Yeah, I saw this fight and I was like, give me Angie Hill. I know she's 12-9. It's not a great record, but I mean, she lost 2 tough split decisions. If anyone's gonna get her out of there, it's gonna be like by a submission maybe, but I don't really see it. So give me Angie.
The last fight she was scheduled to do was versus Tisha Torres though, and that ended up getting canceled. That was supposed to be It was supposed to be on December 12th on that card. That was a great card, by the way. 12-12. Didn't end up happening. She didn't fight Tisha Torres. Before that, like it was supposed to be Michelle Watterson. Fought Michelle Watterson. Lost. So Ashley Yoder will get her revenge. So
potentially.
Now this throws an interesting wrench into the cog because Angela Hill is up there with some of the highest strike landing strikers in all of UFC.
She's a great personality.
That's why her name is Overkill.
She's a great personality. She's a great fighter, and I'm hoping to see some of her career reflect that. So I do hope she beats Ashley Yoder, because if she loses, she'll be 12-10. Unfortunately, that's not a great record. 12-9 isn't, but I do think she's a good fighter. She lost some unfortunate split decisions, so. I do think she beats Ashley Yoder in this fight. Yeah.
So you have Angela.
I have Angie Overkill Hill. Easily.
I want to go
by
with
volume.
Angela Hill.
By volume.
I was gonna say by volume, just because I know what her striking ability is like. I want to pick Angela Hill.
You're not gonna get her out.
Part of me wants Ashley Yoder to have that second bout vengeance of like, hey, this is my rematch. This is my my Super Bowl is versus Angela Hill. If I can beat her, it can project me into some other things. But I'm not gonna go with her, so I'm still gonna go Angela Hill. I think we're both right on that one.
Good on you, Blake. Alexander the Great Hernandez versus Thiago Moises. Look, Thiago Moises fought Bobby Green in his last fight. While Bobby Green was on a goddamn tear. Bobby Green was one of the guys who fought, I think, 5 times last year in a pandemic, like really fought a lot. And Thiago Moises, he just flat out beat him in a decision. And it's hard to beat Bobby Green because the guy, Bobby Green, has been in the sport for so many years. He knows everything. He's seen everything. So it's hard to give you something that you haven't seen. And Thiago Moises really put it on him. Alexander Hernandez, we've seen him fight Cowboy. He's been really cocky when he went up against Donald Cerrone, and he lost. And that was really a humbling moment for for Alexander Hernandez, excuse me. But I really think that he took that loss to heart. I think he took it to heart and really looked at himself after and kind of turned that corner. And Alexander Hernandez, I really do think could be an absolute force in this division. I really like Thiago Moises. I really do. And and it's not that I like him. It's that Thiago Moises is a really good fighter. He's fantastic. You beat Bobby Green, you're good. But Alexander Hernandez I think he could be great. And just like his nickname, the Great. So I think he could be great.
Not only did he beat Bobby Green, but he also beat Michael Johnson. I don't say what you want to say. Michael Johnson's been in the game.
I mean, yeah,
two
veterans on his team.
I'm not saying that he's a contender or anything, but
2 veterans.
He's beaten 2 quality guys. Now the interesting thing about Alexander the Great is I don't know what the record is for canceled fights.
His last fight was
probably Tony Ferguson, honestly, versus Khabib. But Alexander Hernandez has had 8 fights that have been scheduled and then canceled at the last second. So
I mean,
when you're a guy that's had fights canceled like that, and a lot of them were just doesn't really give me a big description, but they've had 8 fights canceled. When you're a guy like that, you have one of two things you can do. You can say, "Oh yeah, it's just the way the world works," or you can say, "Fuck that, I'm hungry."
Yeah,
I think coming into this Thiago Moises fight, after he had a win against, and I'm going to butcher this name, Grutzmacher. I was going to say I'm probably going to butcher it. My name is Schneiders, obviously, but I don't know
that
German.
guy. I mean,
and he lost to Drew Dober in the fucking second round due to punches. But
look, Grutzmacher has it's. I don't want to be harsh here, but he doesn't belong in the UFC.
Hey, this is a show where you can be harsh.
So,
Josh.
I mean, Grutzmacher doesn't deserve it. Alexander Hernandez looked great, and I feel like that wasn't because of his opponent. I think it was because of his evolution that he is really, better than a lot of people at this point. Better than the fight that we saw him against Cerrone. I think he's way better than the fact because he talked so much crap in that Cerrone fight, wanted to dominate him, and then, Cowboy Cerrone. That was Cowboy's last great victory, was against Alexander Hernandez, and it's going to look great because Alexander Hernandez is going to climb the division. That's why it's going to look good. So 12-3. Thiago Moises, I don't think is ready for Alexander Hernandez. The great,
even
155.
Even after Moises is
against what, Bobby Green?
Background. I was gonna say Bobby Green and
Michael
Johnson.
No, I do. I really strongly. I really like what I saw out of Alex Hernandez last fight. Okay. So I really liked it.
So you got Alexander Hernandez.
And Thiago's great. Thiago's really good too. He's
toss up,
too small.
Honestly, but
too small.
I'm gonna also lean towards Alexander the Great. I think he's on a nice little run. I think he also has good momentum behind him right now, and I think his skill set is getting better and better each time we watch him fight. I'm also gonna go Alexander Hernandez. So right now we're pretty much we both picked Alex. We both picked Angela. We both picked Alexander Hernandez. So
yeah, I mean, side note,
we are AAA right now. Alexander, Alex, and Angela.
woo. I mean, side note, we are big on James Krause here because he's KC. James Krause's coach when he fights is Mark Montoya, which is Factory X, which there's 3 Factory X fighters on this card. Sorry.
Smoking that reefer, Josh.
Good reefer like Kevin Kroom. Alexander Hernandez,
That's a horrible segue.
Vince Cachero, and Dustin Jacoby. So all prelim fighters, but when Krause fights, he goes to Mark Montoya, who is Alexander Hernandez's coach. Doesn't mean really anything.
So really we have 2 connections for a back-to-back fight because the next fight we have on our list that we've all going to watch is Alex Caceres, the Bruce Leroy versus Kevin Doom Kroom. No. What is
Crash Kroom,
Crash,
baby?
What's his actual?
It's Crash. He used to be the hard-hitting.
I was gonna say it says the hard-hitting hillbilly.
It used to be that. He has evolved his game into Crash Kroom.
He's no longer.
He's no longer that. I mean, he changed his nickname, and I respect it because he is at the highest level of the sport. Kevin Kroom is a world. I mean, he's a lifelong fighter. First of all, and in his first fight. I hate bringing it up, but like it got ruled a no contest. But we all know. I'd like to say this:
we all know he whooped his ass.
who got their hand raised?
Yeah.
Who like at the end of the fight? Like, did you like if I talk to Kevin, I'm like, who got their hand raised at the end of the fight? Did you get your hand raised?
Well,
obviously you did.
That's like
so
going back to the John Jones fight. You know, when John Jones
illegal elbows, whatever.
Illegal 12-6 elbow, which shouldn't be illegal at all.
It doesn't
make any sense.
He
why
took
it's
the
fucking
fight
in the first place. We all know who won that fucking fight.
He took
the
fight on 36 hours notice, and so yeah, he had a little bit of reefer in him. I don't blame him. I love the guy, Kevin Kroom, and I mean we all know Alex Caceres. We all know you may not know Alex Caceres, but you might know Bruce Leroy. And he's coming off of a couple victories. He fought Chase Hooper, and then he beat another guy. I mean,
Chase Hooper, son of Ben Askren, obviously.
I mean, he beat another guy first
joke,
round.
By the way, that
which one?
Ben Askren played on Ariel Helwani with Chase Hooper.
When he was like, my son came in the room.
Yeah,
I've seen
Did
that.
you see that shit?
I've seen that.
That
before.
shit was fucking hilarious because Helwani.
I wish O'Malley was there.
I know. Truly was like, wait, you had a son?
O'Malley's
At like 18 or 16? You had a son?
Yeah,
wait, that looked like Chase Hooper. He was like, yeah, that's my son.
He schooled Helwani. Look, you think that's getting past the B Cup, boys? Not at all.
Not at all.
We're not letting that happen. We're not too zoned in where we don't know what's going on because
Helwani,
that was obviously Chase Hooper. What are you talking about?
And obviously, if you know Ben Askren, he's going to fuck with you.
And Chase Hooper is just
by the way,
not great. You know, Chase Hooper's not that good.
Well, hold on. Chase Hooper's not bad.
Chase Hooper's
just he's young as shit.
Yeah, but against a guy like Alex Caceres, you could see why that went the way it did.
Yeah, but Alex Caceres has been in the league for a minute. Alex Caceres is,
and that's why it went the way.
His name is Bruce Leroy.
It went the way it did because he dominated that kid.
And Chase Hooper's what, 19?
Really young.
20? 19?
Yeah, well, that's not Kevin Kroom.
No, Kevin Kroom, on the other hand, is here to bring the doom.
Kevin Kroom has asked for this fight. He wanted this to be his UFC debut against Alex Caceres. He's been, he had this opponent in mind. He likes this matchup. And, I mean, as a Kansas City person, as a Kansas City guy, there's no secret about it. I think Kevin Kroom goes out and really dominates Bruce Leroy and then continues to build his resume.
Exactly. And already on that resume right now, another KC guy, a guy who trains with Kevin Kroom.
Derek Minner.
Win. Kevin Kroom has a win over Derek Minner.
Yeah, he's got a win
who
over
is also
UFC.
skyrocketing in the UFC. So we have 2 guys right now. Derek Minner with 2 fights in the UFC. He's 2-0.
3.
I'm sorry. 3-0.
2-1. 2-1.
God damn it. Why do we... Josh.
So, I mean, he took his first fight on 8 days' notice. So
and he fucking won.
He lost to Grant Dawson.
Like I said, he lost.
To
God damn it.
who was also a Kansas City guy. So, but that was his third fight.
I am the worst. Anyway, either way. God damn, I'm the worst. Anyway.
That's not a big deal.
Either way. Got a win over Derek Minner, who's now 2-1 in the UFC.
That's a big
He's
win.
making his first fight debut in the UFC.
Kevin?
Kevin?
No, he
Second.
fought his second.
Okay.
He fought
We're gonna cut this whole fucking part out.
all right, it was Kevin Krum is fighting his second fight in the UFC. He took his first fight in the UFC on 36 hours notice, and he choked Roosevelt Roberts out in 31 seconds. Are you kidding me? Like, literally.
Got him.
This guy changed his life in a matter of 31 seconds because he's been a career fighter. I'll fight you anytime, any day, anywhere. And he finally got that call to the UFC, and he fought Roosevelt Roberts, and he beat him in 31 seconds. He tested positive for reefer, so that got overruled as a no contest. It got
Which we all know what no contest means. Means you fucking won the goddamn
It doesn't matter because, like, at the end of the day, you got your hand raised, and you're getting your second fight in the UFC. So you made it, and you get another fight, and he got $50K. You can't take the $50K away from Kevin Krum because he absolutely earned it.
Well, he even came out and he said, I've been envisioning this for my entire life. The sacrifices that I've made, the time that I've put in, I know that I'm a bonus fighter. I become a bonus fighter. I am now a bonus fighter. And to me, when you put Krum on the card, baby, watch out.
Yeah, it's
gonna be electric.
This fight is gonna be so entertaining.
It's gonna be great.
This fight's gonna be so entertaining. I cannot wait to watch this fight. Like, literally watch prelims to the first main event card is insane. I mean, and then we'll just keep going, because Pedro Munoz is fighting Jimmy El Terror Rivera. What a weird nickname. You got yourself.
El Terror.
This fight was supposed to happen on it was, I think, UFC 258. It was supposed to happen on UFC 258. I really don't know maybe someone tested positive, but the main thing is Jimmy Rivera last fought at 145 against Cody Stamann. He won unanimously. Now he's going back down to 135, and he's fighting Pedro Munoz, who has always been at 135. The first time this fight was scheduled,
6 years ago. 5 years ago. Well, I'm sorry. Are you talking about the first time they ever fought, or the first time that it was
scheduled?
First time, I was gonna say the first time they ever fought, he beat Pedro Munoz.
That's true. This is a rematch. Yeah,
this is technically a rematch. Not technically, it is a fucking rematch.
Jimmy Rivera versus Pedro Munoz too, and I think who won that fight?
The first time it was Jimmy. Jimmy won.
Yeah,
he beat Pedro Munoz. Now Jimmy's got a nice little background and a nice little win category against quite a few people. He's beat Pedro Munoz. He's beaten Yuri Alcantara. Sorry. I know who that is. I just don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yuri.
He beat Uriah Faber. He beat Thomas Almeida. He lost to Marlon Moraes. He beat John Dodson. Lost to Sterling and Aljamain Sterling, and lost to Peter Yan.
He's always been at the top of the division.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's always
never
been there.
Not been at the top of the division. And with a record of 23-4, you can see why he's always at the top. And he fought Pedro Munoz, who's 18-5. That's one of his
was years
defeats.
Ago.
Long time ago. And it's weird because Jimmy Rivera fought at 45 last fight, and now he's going back down to 35, which is what this fight's at. And then you've got Pedro Munoz, who has, beaten Cody Garbrandt, the former champ. He's beating, or he lost to Frankie Edgar. And so, I've just kind of had Munoz since this was announced, and I know Rivera was a pretty big favorite the first time, or not a big favorite, but he was the favorite the first time this fight was announced. And but I do think he might get the better of Rivera this time. I don't know why. I mean, this is kind of a pick'em, but I like Munoz's stuff.
I was gonna say this is definitely a fight to bet on.
I like Munoz's stuff here.
I'm gonna say I like Rivera. I think his past couple fights, he had a canceled one versus Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz was supposed to be scheduled, didn't happen. He beat Cody Stamann. He was supposed to have another one versus Marlon Vera. Didn't happen. So I think right now, Jimmy is eager to fight. I think he's going to come in knowing, hey, I've beat you before. I can capitalize on that prior beat. Now, usually I'd be the guy that says, hey, if you're going to fight me again, you're probably not going to win. So usually I think I would lean towards Pedro Munoz, but because of the past couple instances that have happened, I think I'm going to go Jimmy. He's 31. A lot of people say it's a young man's game and the fight game, but we've already established most of the champions
are post 30.
Post 30. So I think right now Jimmy's in a solid place. I think he's had some good off time. I'm going to go with Jimmy Rivera on this one. I think this is the first one we've been split on.
Yeah, not bad.
Oh, by the way, I guess we didn't say we both got Kevin Kroom in the next in the last fight.
Obviously.
So that was without question. So
yeah,
I think I'm going Jimmy Rivera.
I wouldn't blame you.
So we're split.
Yeah, it's just it's a really good, like I'm saying, the main event doesn't really excite you that much as a main event, but the whole card in general is really exciting. I think it's super exciting. And so the next fight we want to talk about is Krylov versus Ankalaev.
Nikita
because
Krylov.
I thought of this fight and I was like, this has no room being a co-main event. And then I kind of looked at I know, but then I kind of looked at Krylov's past opponents, and his last two losses were against Jan and
Teixeira
and Glover. And people argue that Glover should be fighting for the 205 title instead of Izzy. Well, there's definitely people out there that think Glover should be fighting because of his age, because of how old he is,
his experience,
he
how much time he's put in and everything.
But the UFC.
I mean, he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's beat. He beat the top of the top. He beat Nikolai Krylov. Nikita Krylov. He beat
them all. He
beat Anthony Smith. He beat Thiago Santos.
He beat them.
He beat Ian Cutelaba.
That's why you could argue. That's why I like those people out there that are arguing, that really love the sport, that say Glover Teixeira should be fighting for the 205 title because of his age and he deserves it. But the UFC, Izzy's obviously gonna take that spot because of
right now they're going off
because
star
of the
power.
baby. So
I mean, who's got more star power, Glover Teixeira or Israel Adesanya?
Maybe Glover's next, but Nikita Krylov, regardless, has been fighting the top of the top, and
for a while.
And he hasn't gotten his respect. So he's fighting Magomed Ankalaev, who's got some really nasty KOs in his past. I mean, he's head kicked.
Which is funny that you say
one guy to the moon.
Beat Cutelaba because freaking so did
Krylov.
No, so did Glover.
Yeah, I mean, Glover. I like that argument that Glover, because that is an argument. Glover should be fighting for the title.
Glover beat Ion Cutelaba.
He should be fighting for the title. So
Ankalaev.
At least he's waiting. I
mean, but also Glover beat Krylov. So really, this fight sounds like it really should be Glover Teixeira versus.
Yeah, but Glover deserves a title shot, so that's why I agree he doesn't. So Ankalaev is 14-1. That's a fantastic record. Krylov has fought in literally the best of the best at the top.
27-7.
So, yeah, I mean it's just a fight.
I think this is gonna be a good fight.
It's a fight you need to watch because
this is a fight you
for
bet
the
on,
top. Yeah, for the top of the division, I think you need to watch it. I don't really know who I'm gonna be betting on here, but I think
that's what I don't know.
I think
I'm going Krylov, but at the same time, I like Ankalaev's rise, so I'm like,
Yeah, I'm opposite. I'm leaning towards Ankalaev because of the lack of what I knew about Krylov, but now that I've seen it, it's just kind of, holy shit, this guy's at the top, and he deserves to be number 9 ranked light heavyweight. That doesn't seem right. Magomed Ankalaev has some nasty KOs, has just really dominated some top opponents, so that's a good fight. Worthy of a co-main event. Check it out, Saturday. But let's talk about the main event.
Hold on. I didn't get mine.
Get in there.
I think it's kind of weird because
I don't even know if I gave mine, but it's tough. You'll see it Saturday.
Gonna say, do you have a pick? Like, do you even think you have a pick as of today, or do you think you're gonna wait until day of?
I think I'm gonna pick.
Put out our predictions.
I'll probably pick Ankalaev.
You sound like you look like an Ankalaev kind of guy.
What?
You look like a big Ankalaev kind of guy.
I mean, that's fine.
Look at your face.
That's fine.
It says Ankalaev written all over it.
That's fine.
It sounds like I'm saying Uncle Iev.
You know, maybe
Uncle
I will. Maybe I will pick an uncle that I have.
I think I'm gonna go. I think with that fight, I'm gonna lean more towards Ankalaev.
Oh, okay.
But don't be surprised if on fight night, my circle is around Krylov.
Yeah, this guy likes to switch it and then switch it.
I like to switch it, then bitch it, then critch it, and lich it.
So yeah,
But all of that being said, to bring us to our main event,
Biggie boy,
Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Fantastic nickname, by the way.
Versus Cyril, the Frenchman Gane.
Look, I'm not having any Cyril this fight, so I just think that Biggie Boy is going to win. And I know they're both coming off of a win against Junior Dos Santos. I do think, and I know Jairzinho has been kind of fighting the top competition since he's entered the sport.
Yes.
Entered the UFC, I should say. Since he's entered the UFC, he's been at the top. I do think he is at the top. I do think he's one of the best heavyweights in the division, even though we have a lot to unravel there. I mean, he's not the best at the heavyweight division, obviously, but I think he's one of the best. He's at the top.
Top 7.
Definitely at the top. I mean, he's number 6 right now in the rankings, but and he's going down to number 8. So he's fighting number 6 versus number 8. UFC's pretty high on Cyril Gane, but and he finished Junior Dos Santos a little bit quicker than Biggie Boy did, but I like Jairzinho because of the striking. I think he can. You
like Rozenstruik for his striking?
True story.
So here's why I think this is an interesting fight, because, and this is why I also think that the UFC is high on Cyril Gane.
They are high on Cyril Gane
because he's got a ground game. Not a lot of heavyweights right now have a good ground. I mean, like, just if we're looking at the top heavyweights in the division, we have Stipe, Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, Rozenstruik, Volkov, Overeem, Cyril Gane. That's really the top 7.
The bulldozer Bowser.
Of those top 7 people, the best people who have a good ground game are Curtis Blades and Cyril Gane. Overeem, nah. Volkov, nah.
It's the heavyweight division.
Nah. Derek Lewis, nah. You also have Ngannou, nah. So Stipe has the best ground game. It's the
heavyweight division.
Probably.
It's the heavyweight division. Get me to the ground, Biggie Boy.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think I'm going Cyril Gane on this fight.
Well, get me to the ground, Biggie Boy.
I think Rozenstruik has great power. I think Gane has great power. But if I think about, it's almost, and this isn't the same as Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis, because Curtis Blades had no shot really standing up with Derek Lewis.
Yeah,
his real shot was going to the ground. Derek Lewis has tremendous power. Gane, on the other hand, says, I can do either or proficiently against somebody like Rozenstruik, because Jairzinho doesn't really have a ground game.
Jairzinho.
So when I look at this fight, honestly, I think this is Gane's best opportunity to catapult
make
himself
a name
in the top
for himself.
5.
Oh yeah, and you said that last
dropping.
Week too.
He's gonna go past if he wins versus Rozenstruik, he's gonna drop past, or he's gonna pass Volkov. Maybe Volkov is still, but again, I haven't seen enough of Volkov's ground game.
You're not passing Volkov.
I haven't seen enough of Volkov. If anything, he goes into the top 6 and he passes Overeem. But I think if he beats
get Overeem out of there.
But see, here's the deal. If Cyril wins, he's overtaking both Overeem and Rozenstruik. So I think he becomes top 5 regardless. Volkov then moves to number 4.
UFC's pushing
Rozenstruik moves to number 6. Overeem is wherever the hell he is. And then you have Cyril Gane at number 5, sitting at number 5 in the top 5. I'm taking Cyril Gane in this fight, man.
You said that last week too. Yeah, I like it.
I just have the Frenchman can submit motherfuckers on the ground, and I just think when you have a ground game in the heavyweight division, flashbacks to guys like Frank Mir who could just pull some shit out. And